Hello guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Emmanuel. Today we have some wonderful family in the house. We have, let us say, our team, and everybody that you are seeing here, everybody, some of them went for vacation, some went to see their family member, some went for party. But the thing I'm even surprised is Abiola. I don't know where that guy went to, but we thank God he's here. Thank God he's here. So today,
At least I'm back.
I would introduce them because some of you don't even know them. So Debo, please can you just do some shout out to the house? So give us something.
Hello, my name is Debo. You
Oh.
call me Debo.
Okay. You see
I'm a
him.
digital illustrator.
You see him.
It takes over the engineer.
You see him. You see the way he's saying it. Even guess it before. I will now have the lost and found somebody. Abiola.
I'm not a prodigal son, but I'm back.
You're back. Yeah.
So I will have Mr. Endrick. I don't know what's going on. Springboks.
Springboks.
What is going on?
No traditional attire today because of Debo. So I don't want that.
You do not black.
Please free me.
So today I want to thank you guys for coming. So today we are talking about domestic violence against men. So I will start from Debo. Debo, can you tell us about this topic?
Domestic violence is very, very wide.
Okay.
And about men, it's not really being talked about enough. There are a lot of domestic violence that occurs, in families, and most people don't really, pay attention to it because men are seen as the strong men. Don't cry about things. Don't open up about things. Usually, men don't really open up about the issues they face in situations they're in, whether it's marriage, whether it's in their families. So I think domestic violence should be talked about enough for men because there's a wide range of how do I put this places or plans in place for domestic violence against the girl child, women, and the likes. But there's nothing really. I haven't really heard anything about domestic violence being talked about on the side of men. And it
Okay.
happens a lot.
Okay, thank you for that illustration and that explanation. So I'll go to Endrick.
Okay. Like I always say, my scholaristic and historical approach to domestic violence. Now, basically, when we are domestic violence, we are touching women and infants.
Okay.
Well, probably the girl child, basically. So men are seen as not being vulnerable to the subject matter. Now, domestic violence, according to World Health Organization, they refer it as gender-based violence. Yes,
Okay.
I personally said the word gender-based violence, which can be categorized into the following. We have one, violence against women and girls. We have female genital mutilation.
Okay.
We have intimate partnership violence.
Okay.
Yes, and we have vis-a-vis other things. Domestic violence encompasses from what I call psychological and emotional abuse, physical abuse, which has to do with strangulation, marks, scars, and injuries. Yeah, punches.
Okay.
You're almost punching me. Now, sorry, Israel lost yesterday. Well, let's not take it too deep.
Oh yeah.
Now, so we also have what I call financial abuse and also religious and socio-cultural abuse. It cuts across different things. You understand? So I believe while we get along with the podcast, we can still emphasize on it.
Okay.
But issues about men is really swept under the carpet because whether I like it or not, despite it's a man's world, the laws are orchestrated to protect women who are seen as more vulnerable to the subject.
Okay, that's good. So Abiola.
All right. As I always like to go, or let me just say, I would want to start with it being a layman world. And I like something he said. Where he actually broke those like the different types of violence we have and those other things. And there was one that is actually pertaining. Like I actually picked that one. You see that financial violence. Now, in the world of it actually needs to be spoken about. I'm still going to go somewhere, but it actually needs to be spoken about the way women actually financially violate us as men. Yeah. Now,
don't let Amuzi see this video.
Exactly.
That's me. 5 to 60 million. The cap is too much.
So those kind of things, and where I want to actually go from is in the sense of it being layman is. In this world of ours now, when we hear domestic violence, what comes to your mind at first is an abuse to a lady, an abuse to a child, or an abuse to an infant, or whoever the person is, excluding men. Now nobody wants to hear violent, and you're telling me it's one man they beat at one.
You say the guy no get power.
Exactly. The first thing you want to say is the man no man enough? Like, is he not? He's weak. Is a weak man and those other things.
Yeah.
As we were raised, probably we being African or something. I don't know how the Western world views it, but while we were in school, while we were in secondary school, they dare not beat you as a boy.
And you come
When
back.
you come back, it's a big thing for you when you go to the front of the class. Teacher calls you out and he whoops you and you be like, just you still be holding hands, just bounce back. Now the lady goes there, they beat the lady, even if she's at fault. Nobody wants, so far she's crying and she's hot.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to hear any other thing.
Okay.
Now I actually feel that it could actually be as a result of it being that female in general are emotional rather than men. But it doesn't mean the fact that men don't face these things we're talking about.
Yeah.
But let's give, for example, a scenario whereby why it is actually just like a normal thing for men. Because even we as men, we actually even do not even support when men are being domestically violated.
Sure.
Yeah.
In the sense that if a man comes to tell you that one girl did this also thing to me in the bus, and you're like, because even when you're in the bus, when people actually see a female, we understand the fact that females are much more lesser to women in terms of strength and those other things.
Yeah.
But yet you hear them say the word, what a man can do, a woman can do better. But now when you hear those kind of things, when you're actually in a bus and you actually see people, a man and a lady having this exchange of words and other things,
The commuters,
and exactly, and you actually know fully well that the lady is actually at fault and everything. Even if the man says things like, "I'll just slap you, I'll just make this advances and other things," you hear even the men that know that he is at fault. You hear them say things like that. Do you want to beat another person's wife, another person's another? But in the real sense, why can't the lady just own up? You're at fault and all, like. But we actually do not take those things up. So in the real sense, man, we have been abused.
But there's a theory that we say men don't cry. So the thing is, do you believe that theory?
Men do cry.
But do they cry
Let's
in
be
public?
honest, but they don't cry in public, and that is something that they need to start doing. Like, no. Let's be honest. A lot of
Nigeria do.
no. A lot of
Nigeria do.
For you, in the real sense,
Yeah.
If you say men do cry, I can actually accept the fact of when you say when men should actually show. Because the funny thing about it is, as a man, you don't want to show your emotional feelings. Even to you can actually, as guy man to guy man kind of talk, you can actually like tell him how it felt and all that. You won't cry. Even if you cry, pat you on the back and like tell you to just chill and calm down. The moment you do it in front of a lady, you're a gunner.
Yes. We understand you're a gunner if you do it in front of a lady. But then again, who's been affected? You don't know. Let's be honest.
Debo is listening to more R&B.
No. Let's be honest about things. See, if no matter how much you bottle things up, at some point, you come out point. It doesn't matter where you are or who you're with, you come out point. That's the reality of when it gets too much.
Yeah.
So at some point you need to just come out and say these things, talk about these things, because if you don't do it, it gets to a point whether a woman will say you do it will come out one way or the other when it gets too much. So I think men need to maybe kind of create a community or an environment where people can come out and talk about what they're going through, what they're facing, and look for means or ways to help one another.
So you're saying they should create an NGO to address this man.
Address.
Because we have one called a Clean Foundation, which was established CLEEN Foundation. You can go and check it.
Okay.
Established
So let's hear Endrick. Let's hear what.
Now, from my perspective of it, definitely men do cry. Not be vulnerable in front of the lady. Most men, see, we say men do not cry, this and that. You don't know what happened within the 4 walls of their inner circle.
Can I ask you this question indirect?
Okay.
Have you ever been emotionally or verbally abused and you went indoor and you cried you out?
Definitely. Most times,
How?
the bedroom can help you now with the shower. Pour out your tears. Yes. I remember a friend of ours, the guy chopped breakfast now. So we're with the guy, they're playing PS for the guy, man, I'm man enough. But me, just have this apropos lifestyle. So I just went to the back. The guy went to late. This guy was on shower. But I noticed shower was not coming out. I was seeing more tears. The guy was listening to this guy.
Juice WRLD.
Juice WRLD. Listen. I read that song. All girls are the same. I said, truly, all girls are the same. And the guy looked at me. I was like, thank you. Go. I said, just cry it out. If you notice, Why do you think bear palours say a lot? Ask yourself the question. You know, we look at these things, the reality check is there. I met a man when we were doing evangelism some years back. I'm like, guy, sir, we always notice you in this beer parlor. He said, how can I go from outside to outside? That was the striking. When I went home, I decided to decode from outside, okay, to outside, meaning the home is outside to you. I do tell people, despite women is vulnerable, a woman can tolerate a broken relationship and marriage. A man
And not, thank you.
man would die immediately.
Yeah, do you know the funny thing?
Yeah.
In recent time, actually, not even in recent time, like in few days ago, actually, I told a friend of
No
mine.
breakfast, yeah.
No, it's not breakfast, but it's
Breakfast and also
Breakfast was made there.
I was saying a friend of mine, we're actually talking about some ladies, and I told him, I said, it might actually be out of the topic just a little bit. But now it's a case of, I told him, I was like, and it's also relating to what you said,
Yeah.
in terms of a lady can actually undo when a man cheats
Yeah.
indirectly, yeah, but a man cannot. Even when you hear men tell you why they calling it, when men tell you with my lady, my girlfriend cheat, you would only keep on tormenting the lady. Indirectly, what happens is, if it now happens to be that it happens to deal with a financial kind of violence or something, now if the lady does that, now the man will forever be tormented in his own home, even despite the fact that the lady has done that thing.
Now
I
like that what they said, yeah.
It's actually this kind of indirect approach to those things, but we can keep moving, Shara. That's like one.
I like what you're saying. You're saying it falls on, forgive me, sorry, I'm trying to breathe in. It falls in under what I call post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD.
We don't talk about this thing, PTSD, a lot, you understand? So that's why I use, there's a part of that abuse, I said intimate partnership violence. Yeah, so it can come in different sizes. Anybody can be affected. Okay. Most times, thank God we even brought it for me, because I know the men like, thank God you people consider those everything domestic violence. Men are dying seriously. Let me even come in on the issue of cheating. It's part of it. Sexual abuse is part of it. Yes, part of the domestic violence. You understand? You know, a man, imagine having a clear picture of my babes cheat on me, or my wife cheat on me, and having the scenario of your wife being slept with. God forgive me. I'm not being God is a forgiver, but me, I can't relate a lady who cheats on me.
Actually, I can't.
Not even cheat on me in the process and still get pregnant.
You know.
No. Man needs respect. Sometimes you think this is respect.
Actually,
no. Imagine, let's be factual. Imagine I have a wife. My wife comes back, she cheats on me. I now sit back in my lonely state trying to meditate. I'm not thinking of how somebody is pinning my wife to the wall, and the guy is giving
I said something. I said indirectly,
yeah.
If I find myself in that situation, the best thing to actually do is just leave, because indirectly it will actually lead to a certain kind of domestic violence,
So
either emotional or something.
So sorry to cut you, Abiola. Now the next question I will ask you before we round it up is, now domestic violence against men. Would you say men commit suicide through domestic violence, like verbal abuse, or because it's not every man. You see, sometimes you say depression killed this man, this thing killed this man. But was it due to domestic violence that caused that kind of act?
Okay, if I wouldn't say it's actually domestic violence, but some of those things are actually resulting from different things. Because in terms of, that's why sometimes we as men, we actually need to like speak up. I don't know how we got to this point here, whereby, because growing up or in certain years, it was a case of you really get to find him. Even when the man actually has no jobs, is depressed or something, he actually always want to like roll around with friends, like talk things out with guy, as you said, the guy man to guy man talk and other things. Try to find a way to just survive, because as it stands in this world, men are the surviving ones. Like for the ladies now, you actually could have ladies that don't even want to go through the stress. But you as a man, you know that no matter the level, no matter wherever you're facing, you would survive. You have to face your fate. So in terms of saying men actually commit suicide due to domestic violence and other things, I don't know how they feel. I'm a man actually. I really do not know the extent to how much you have been abused, or how much. Everybody have different tolerance level.
Okay, so Debo, if I ask you that kind of thing, what would you say? Depression, domestic violence, how does it correlate?
Okay, it depends on the kind of violence, anyways. There's gaslighting, there's the financial violence that you talked about. So those two together right? It's a really bad situation for men because obviously men have to are like the providers in the family.
Okay.
So when it becomes too much, right? You have to think about how you're going to provide for your family, and then you have your wife, you know, violating you, whether it's financially or
Emotionally,
emotionally, comparing you with your friends,
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
Do you understand? So when it gets too much, there's a point where the man can no longer take
Take
things.
it.
Do you understand? So that's where they need to have a community where you can come and talk about things. It's not easy to talk about issues like this, especially issues that has to do with
Okay.
what's happening inside your home.
I'm available whenever you want to talk.
Endrick, and we'll give our final remarks.
Okay. Let me say something. It's time we start talking about psychological and psychiatry medication in the country. What am I meaning? We are not mad. Let me just come in. We are not mad. Yes, I told somebody one time you need to say psychiatrist. So like, what do you mean? She called everybody. This guy has labeled me as madman. Oh. He's saying I should go to Yaba left. No, let me come in. Why I say so? There's too much issues in life. So
Nigeria.
when a man gets depressed and think of committing suicide, the family issue now becomes the catalyst to the icing on the cake that just shoots the
I
reaction.
actually enjoy
Yeah.
it. Now, the other thing I can actually say in
Yeah.
support of what you said is there's really need to actually be like a better explanation to psychology.
Yeah.
Now, people only want to understand that the moment you say I'm a psych, I have
Because we have the medical teams. They know their stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then again, they don't have the voice.
So, Debo, can you give me something wrong with somebody who's going through domestic violence, and let's say he comes to you and say, Debo, please, I need help. What will you tell him? What kind of information will you give to him?
Okay. For me, I think first things first, I need to listen to the person without judging,
Okay.
understand where he's coming from, and then find probable solutions if I can, or redirect that person
Therapist.
Okay.
to a doctor or
So, Mr. Hendrick, what will you say?
Okay, looking at the perspective of where you're coming from, being a panacea, right? Which about it is a man is not a panacea. Let me come in. I will break it down. One, I told you for marriage is a journey without certificate.
Okay.
Yes. A lady once asked one thing. She wanted to check if there's an expiry date to her marriage certificate, and she didn't see none. Now, I always tell people seek therapy sections. It's nice. Don't see it as why, but we are in the spirit. No. Seek therapy section. Commit your relationship into the hands of God and avoid third parties in your circle because these things affect a lot. Some people carry their marriage issues to their parents, and that is bad. No, a man and a woman should glitch and deal with their issues personally. You grow and you learn. You
Okay.
will grow and relearn in that process again. So, and finally, what I would say, there must be room for compromise.
Okay.
Yes, you must learn how to understand people. People change.
Okay.
And what you tend to like today may not spice out tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is it.
So,
that's
Abiola, what will you say? Somebody comes to you and
Okay, first thing when someone comes to me, I
domestic violence.
actually always learn this listening here, and domestic violence we shouldn't just attribute it to marriage, right?
Yeah,
like
so,
we're looking at it all around both marriage, outside marriage, and everything. So whenever someone comes to meet me for to approach me as even a guy, a girl, or anyone, I always want to like lend out my listening ears, and I always get to like when I get to tender judgment, I don't tender your judgment based on what you're telling me. If I can't get access to the next person, I always want to like put myself in the shoe of the next person. Like I'll create like a third party scenario to like play around the whole thing. I'll make you see your own faults, make you see the person's fault, and offer the only help I can offer. Talk to you about what I could talk to you about, and if you actually seek extra help or certain things you need to see, I could just tell you, okay, this is what you need to do, and this is who you need to see or who you need to go and find out about.
Okay, that's a very good. I think everybody gave a very good illustration and explanation on
which are coming the next
which
time.
I know Jasmine which I mean Jasmine Amara, Faith, everybody in the group and everybody EJ, everybody was going to react to. But that's life. So when they come next time, they'll do their own. But as it is now, I want to thank you guys for coming. I want to thank the viewers for watching. And
you're welcome.
I think domestic violence is a very strong word, and as we speak, it's happening. So we can't run away from it. And I tell people watching, if you are domestically abused, please see somebody. Even if, like you said, your pastor, some pastors will tell you spiritual problem, but avoid it. So the thing there is find solution. That's what they say, action and reaction. The action the person takes, you see the reaction. So thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Debo.
Thank you for
Mr. Endrick.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Abiola.
Thank you for
God
having
bless
me.
you all, and we'll see you, the viewers, on the next one. Thank you.